Good evening and welcome to a Step Out, Step In podcast, episode 128. Sorry for the delay. You know, technology has its own mind, and this was due to a technical glitch. And I'm glad we are back on. It's better late than never. And again, I want to welcome you to Step Out, Step In podcast, live on YouTube and Facebook. This is the podcast where we inspire you to step out of your limitations, to step into your purpose, what you've been designed to do and to be. I am your host, David Joe, and today we're going to dive into this episode, this wonderful episode. And I want you to stay tuned and we're just going to have a wonderful time together, I believe. If you can do me a big favor by sharing the link with at least one person, tell another person to tell another person that we are live on YouTube and Facebook. That we're live on YouTube and Facebook. So let's do this. As you do it, let me also share mine real quick. Okay, here we go. Where is YouTube? And also, if you can share in the link where you're watching from or where you might be watching the replay from, um, we want to connect. So if you can share that information with us as well. And thank you for tuning in to episode 128 live on YouTube and Facebook. Okay, here we go. All right. Okay. All right. Let's see here. As you share, I'm also sharing mine here. Thank you so much for tuning in. Okay. Here we go. All right. So stay tuned. We'll be right back. Every Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, join me as we dive headfirst into thrilling stories of personal growth, daring adventures, and transformative experiences. Get ready to be motivated, inspired, and empowered to live your life to the fullest. So mark your calendar, set your alarm, and get ready to step out, step in with me every Monday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Don't miss out on the adventure of a lifetime. Subscribe now and let's step into the unknown together. This is Step Out, Step In. The journey begins here. Step Out, Step In podcast, live on Mondays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Subscribe today. Okay, so again, thank you for tuning in to episode 128 live on YouTube and Facebook. And I'm glad you're here with us tonight. So let's do this. We want to get into it. And tonight's topic is how to value yourself and to value others. How to value yourself and to value others. And again, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube page, please do so. Don't forget to click on the notification bell so that anytime something is posted, you will be notified. Please share, comment, nice comments though, and let's have this wonderful time together. And let me start off by asking you this question: that have you ever looked in a mirror and wondered, am I really enough? Or maybe you've poured into others and you've helped others hoping they will see your worth, but deep down, you still question your own value. What if I told you that the way you value yourself directly impacts how you value others? And today we want to step into this podcast And we want to talk about how to value yourself and how to value others, because how you see yourself shapes how you see your world. Stay tuned. All right, again, thank you for tuning into episode 128 live on YouTube and Facebook. So let's dive into today's topic of today's episode, and which is how to value yourself and to value others. And let's start off by finding out what it means to value yourself or how to be valued. And we want to start off with the definition. And in the definition, I said to value means to appreciate, to cherish, to recognize the intent, worth, even when even when it's not obvious. Can I say that again? To value means to appreciate, to cherish, to recognize the intent, worth, even when it's not obvious. You know, in this world, in this world today, um, when you value something, the worth, the importance, or the usefulness is what really matters. We place, and that is what you place on someone or you place on something. When you value something, the worth, the importance, or usefulness we place on someone or something. In the world today, value is often measured by what you own, what you do, or how many people applaud you. That is how sometimes in this world today we look at what value is. That is how value is measured. But true value is the kind that brings peace and fulfillment. That is the true value. It begins from within, from understanding who you are in God's eyes. Who you are in God's eyes. So let's dive into this and let's look at how to value yourself. You know, I said how to value yourself will determine how you value others. And the most important thing is placing a value on yourself. In the same way you place a value on yourself, you can place a value on other people. One of the things as human beings and in this modern generation is how we value others. I believe that the world will be in a very wonderful place if we learn to value others as we value ourselves. So number one is how do you value yourself? How do you value yourself? So we want to talk about valuing yourself. And when you know your value, you stop competing, ladies and gentlemen. You stop and you start contributing. You don't compete, but you contribute. You make an input into the lives of other people. You stop comparing and you start becoming who you've been designed to be and to do. You know, everybody is so unique in their own ways. God made us so unique and so wonderful and so amazing. That is why you are one of a kind amongst the billions of people in this world. You know, the world would have been very boring if everybody looked like you, talked like you, did everything like you. It would have been very boring. That is why God made you so unique. That is why you are so amazing. That is why you are so wonderful. That is why you're so fearfully and wonderfully made. So when you value yourself, you start comparing. You don't compare yourself to other people amongst yourself, but you start becoming who you've been designed to be. And as a person of faith, every now and then I want to throw in a scripture. And let's look at one scripture from Psalm 139 and the verse 14, which says that I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful, and I know that full well. That is the psalmist. Says, I praise you because I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. I often make fun of the scripture where, and I say that anytime I'm with my wife, we both fulfill scripture. I am fearfully made. She is wonderfully made. And both of us working together, we are fulfilling scripture. Anyhow, everyone is fearfully and wonderfully made. God took his time and knitted you inside out. He made you one of a kind. He custom made you. And you know that anything that is custom made, you never find a duplicate anywhere. That is why there's no duplicate of you anywhere. People can imitate you, but nobody can duplicate you. That is why you are one of a kind. You're not just poetry, it's identity. So, valuing yourself, ladies and gentlemen, means we want to look at what it means. Valuing yourself, and we want to get into this real quick. Valuing yourself means number one, recognizing your uniqueness. Recognizing your uniqueness. This morning, I was telling an individual that sometimes you have to be your own cheerleader. You don't have to let people tell you how wonderful you are. How you just have to say to yourself, just like how my daughter used to say, people tell, "Oh, you look so beautiful," and say, "Oh, I know that, but anyway, thank you." You value, you recognize your uniqueness. You are so unique in your own craft. God designed you in a way that nobody can duplicate you. Nobody can be like you. The reason why sometimes people are jealous about you is because they want what you have, and because they can't have it, they become jealous of you. There is no one else with the same fingerprints as you do. There's no one else with the same voice as you do. There's no one else who has the heart or your purpose. You were designed in a very unique and amazing form. That is why you have to recognize your uniqueness. You don't have to change to be like somebody else. If God had wanted us to be like everybody else, He would have just mass produced us. But He took His time and knitted you, fearfully and wonderfully made you. Number two is setting boundaries. I believe that this sub-theme runs through most of my podcast, setting boundaries. Now, setting boundaries doesn't mean you're building walls between you and the other person. Setting healthy boundaries means that people who value themselves don't let anyone or everything drain them. The people that are draining, but you set those boundaries that, look, I'm not going to allow these people to get into my space to drain me. No. I am, number one, recognizing my uniqueness, and I have to set healthy boundaries. I don't know about you, but have you thought of that one person who is always on your mind, just flicking you off, and your heart begins to palpitate when the thought of that person comes in, just because of how arrogant the person might have been towards you, or how rude the person might have been towards you, or the person just pressing all your buttons. But you have to set those healthy boundaries. Number three is forgive yourself. Forgive yourself. You can value yourself if you're constantly judging yourself. Sometimes there are certain things, there are certain mistakes, and certain things we might have done in the past which is still haunted us. But the reason why you're not living in the past is because you're moving forward. Let whatever is in the past go. You can go back and correct what is in the past, but you can always learn from it and not repeat it and move forward. Sometimes it becomes that stepping board for you to leap into your better place. Don't allow your past to pin you down. The Great Expectation, I don't know how many people have read a book, but Miss Havisham got stuck in her past because the husband to be canceled the wedding just a few minutes to the time, and she stopped all the clocks in the house, settled in that same place, wore her wedding clothes, left the cake and everything for the house to deteriorate because she stayed and lived in the past because of should I say betrayal or disappointment? And some people are living in their past because of betrayal, disappointment, and past hurt and pain. You got to shake yourself off and keep moving forward. I said the other time that the reason why God made our feet point forward is because you are always moving forward. Forgive yourself and move forward. Let go of the past and let God set in and take absolute control of your life and rule the affairs of your life. Number 4 is invest in yourself. Invest. This day and age, we don't have any excuse of not investing in ourselves. The best investment you can do or you can give to yourself is to invest in yourself. Your personal growth. Your personal growth matters. Except you've decided you want to get stuck at where you are. But just as in life, we are growing every day. You cannot say that, oh, I'm refusing to grow, whether you like it or not. Growth is inevitable. You cannot stop it. It is the same way that your personal growth should be more important to you as well. Develop yourself. Learn something new every day. Read a book. Learn from others and develop yourself. Develop your personal growth. And the scriptures even inspires us that by knowledge. That means that if you invest in it, it involves your money, your time, your resources, everything. Spend time. And when you read, when you pray, when you rest, you take care of your body, and you are, I believe you're honoring the masterpiece, God who created you. So invest in yourself. So number 1, I said recognize your uniqueness. Number 2, set healthy boundaries. Number 3 is forgive yourself. Let go of what is in the past and move forward. Number 4 is invest in your personal growth. And number 5 is speak life over yourself. Speak life over yourself. I don't know how many times I've talked about this, but it is something that is so dear to my heart. Your words, what you say, what you speak. Because the scriptures tells us that in Proverbs 18, it tells us that death and life are in the power of the tongue. That small organ in your mouth, that pink thing in your mouth, it is so small, but yet very powerful. And what you say, what you speak is what is established. So your words, the words you speak, shapes the way you see yourself. And remember this, your value doesn't decrease because someone failed to see it. If you have any currency, whatever the denomination is, and you crumple it, does it lose its value? No. Let's say $100 bill. If you crumple that $100 bill, does it lose its value? No. If you step on it, you make it dirty, does it lose its value? No. It might be crumpled, it might be dirty, but its value is still the same. And that is who you are. Value, you don't have to let someone else's opinion about you decrease your value. Your worth is not negotiable, ladies and gentlemen. Your worth is not negotiable. All right, so now let's look at how to value others after valuing yourself. How do you value others? How do you value others? And now we want to shift. We want to shift gears a little bit. You know, it's one thing to know your worth, but it's another thing, it's a whole different ball game to recognize the worth of others, especially those who think, who look, and especially those who do not think or look or talk like you. We have to learn to recognize those people as well. So to value others, it takes, ladies and gentlemen, it takes intentionality. It takes intentionality to value others. You have to be very intentional about it. So let's look at what it takes to value others. Let's look at a few steps right here, what it takes to value others. Number one is seeing people through the eyes of God. Seeing people through the eyes of God. We are all God's creation. It doesn't matter your color, your creed. We are all God's creation. Have you realized that, or do you know that no matter the color of your skin, we all carry the same blood, which is red? And when somebody needs a blood transfusion, they never ask what color of the skin are we getting the blood from. The only thing that matters is it has to match your blood group. And in the Greek, they will say Apha. Every person you meet, either a friend or a stranger, carries the image of God, ladies and gentlemen. If we can identify that, if we can recognize that, we can eliminate tribalism, we can eliminate discrimination, because nobody is better than the other because of the color of your skin or the texture of your hair. No. When you see people as God sees creation, you start treating them with dignity and respect. And that is how we have to see God's creation. I know in some countries they respect pets more than human beings, but I think it's wrong. God had to create you and I in his image and after his likeness. Animals were called into existence. God didn't have to stop everything and bring the three together and create animals. No. You and I are the only ones that were made in the image of God and after his likeness. And that is how we have to see every human being. And we have to treat every human being with dignity and with respect. Number two is we have to listen more. Listen more than you speak. I believe this is somewhat intertwined with what I talked about last week. When you truly listen, ladies and gentlemen, you show people that you care. You show them that their thoughts and feelings matter to you. You care. Not just any, but that genuine care and love. Sometimes the best way to value someone is simply being present, body present. Your presence alone speaks volumes, ladies and gentlemen. Your presence speaks volumes. Number three is encouraging others and uplifting them. You encourage others and uplift them. We all need that every now and then. You know, you can not always be your own cheerleader. Sometimes you need someone to lift you up when you're down. And we have to come to that place and that position in our lives that if we value people, our words should matter. Your words are powerful, and I keep saying that. And the words you speak to someone should uplift the person, should encourage the person, not something that will tear the person down. And you know, I heard somebody say to one person some time back that if you don't know me, I can insult you to the point where if you take a shower, you'll never have a clean shower. And somebody asks, how can that be possible? He says, anytime you remember the insult, you just grab one part of your body and wash yourself and just leave the shower. How can you be so crude? But your words should encourage, your words should uplift someone. Your words should be encouraging. A kind word can heal, ladies and gentlemen. It can restore and remind someone that they also matter. You know, as a person of faith, I like to throw in some scriptures just to back it up. When you look at First Thessalonians chapter 5 and verse 11, it talks about encourage one another and build each other up. Encourage one another and build each other up. Number 4 is serving others. Serving others without expecting anything in return. Gradually, we're slipping into this place where before people do things for you, they are asking, what is in there for me? What am I getting in return for what I'm doing for you? But when you value someone, you serve them without expecting anything in return. And most of the time before I do something for you, I'm not looking for what is in there. What are you going to give me back to also make way for what I did for you? No. Now, one of the things I do most of the time when I go out to the grocery store, I look out for the elderly generation or the people who have these heavy items, and you know, sometimes it becomes a struggle for them to carry these items and put them in their cars. I look out for them and I go in and I help them out. The other time when I helped this old lady out and said, oh, let me give you, I said, no, I didn't do this for a tip or anything. It's something that I just love to do. That is my service to you. I didn't know her from anywhere. I just did it. And I believe that when you do these things, God in turn blesses you in so many ways as well. So true value is shown in action, ladies and gentlemen. When you give, when you help, when you serve, not for recognition, but because you care and not asking for anything in return. That is true value. And finally, number 5 is celebrating other people's success. Celebrating other people's success. When you value others, your success doesn't threaten you, but it inspires you. Can I say that one more time? When you value people, or when you value others, their success doesn't threaten you. It shouldn't make you jealous, but it should inspire you. You should be happy for them. We have to learn to celebrate with them instead of comparing and measuring yourself to them. And let me say this, valuing others doesn't mean you think less of yourself, but it means you think of yourself less. Let me say that again. Valuing others doesn't mean you think less of yourself. It means you think of yourself less. And can you do me a big favor with this statement? Let me know what you think about this. If you can place it in the comment section, if you can share your thoughts about this statement in the comment section, I'll be very, very glad. I'll be very glad. And again, thank you for tuning in to episode 128 live on YouTube and Facebook. And if you happen to watch the replay, thank you for tuning in as well. Stay tuned and watch this space. Step Out, Step In podcast, live on Mondays at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Subscribe today.
Step out, step into the world unknown. Leave your fears behind.
All right, again, thank you for tuning in and welcome back. And just before we wrap up, let me make this announcement real quick. We were supposed to have this one-day leadership conference, and on behalf of Advanced Life Ministries, we regret to inform you that the Maximize DMV Leadership Conference, originally scheduled for Saturday, November 22nd, has been postponed. A new date will be communicated later, and we will share with you as soon as the details or the date is made available. And also, if you registered, please allow us about 10 business days to have your funds, your money refunded to the original method of payment. Give us about 10 business days and it will be refunded accordingly. And again, we sincerely apologize for any inconvenience this postponement may have caused, and we appreciate your understanding and your continued support to Advanced Life Ministries. All right. So thank you also for your maximum participation and to be part of this. We'll definitely share that information with you. Again, thank you. All right. So let's begin to wrap up. All right. So I want you to take a moment and ask yourself these questions. And the question is, how do I show value to myself on a daily basis? How do I show value to other people who are around me? And are there people I've overlooked because I didn't take my time to see their worth? And remember, ladies and gentlemen, when you see your own value clearly, it becomes easier to recognize and to value others. It makes it easier to recognize the value in others as well. And remember, there's a scripture, I believe, Romans 12, which talks about be devoted to one another in love, honor one another above yourself. Jesus exemplified this, and we want to do the same. And that is the balance, to love yourself enough to love others well. You can't pour out from an empty cup or an empty vessel, but you also can keep your cup to yourself. You cannot give what you don't have. Value is multiplied when it is shared. So this week, as you go about your daily activities, one of the things I want to do is every week I want to give this assignment that we want to work on. So here is your challenge for this week. Write down three things. Write down three things you value about yourself. Maybe you've not taken the time to note them down, but write down three things you value about yourself. It could be your resilience, your kindness, your faith, and speak them out loudly every morning. Show intentional value to at least three people. Three people maybe you've overlooked over a period of time. Show that value to those people. Maybe sending them a message of encouragement, expressing gratitude, or simply listening to them. And when you start valuing yourself and others intentionally, you create an atmosphere of love, respect, and growth wherever you go. So, I want to tell you, you are valuable. I want to look straight in your eyes and tell you that you are valuable. Not because of what you do, but because of who you are. And when you value others, you remind them of that truth too. So today, step out of self-doubt and step into your true worth and value. Step out of judgment and step into compassion. Step out of comparison and step into connection. Because the world changes, and that one valued hat at a time. The world changes that one valued hat at a time. And again, thank you for joining me today in episode 128 of my Step Out, Step In podcast. If this message has spoken to you, I want you to share it with at least one person who needs to be reminded of their worth and their value. And remember, when you know your value, you see the value in others everywhere. Until next time, keep stepping out and stepping into the best version of yourself. This has been your host, David Joe. I love you. There's nothing you can do. Have a wonderful, amazing, fruitful, and a productive week. Goodbye.
Step out, step into the world unknown. Leave your fears behind, watch how you've grown. Challenge yourself, break free, and begin to find the purpose within. Step out, step in, out of your comfort zone. Step into the light where your potential shines.